Good morning, coffee moaners. I haven't seen you for quite a few days. We were just saying, weren't we?
Since you passed out on the
Since
sofa.
Wednesday, since the election.
Not in the coffee moaning format. You've seen.
Yes, we've seen you in other ways, but not here, because some people only come for coffee moaning. And on that, if this is your first time visiting our channel, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell and have a good look round the channel, because we do so many other things. This is just one string to our bow. So we like to have a moan, we like to have a giggle. Oh, that's a dog. What's she got in her mouth? Don't even look.
No, she's gathering for Christmas. Toffee has gone into.
We've got a kleptomane.
Into full festive mode.
Oh my God, she's fine. Oh, she's hilarious. We are an ADHD household. We both have it, and so does our dog. But she's a kleptomaniac. People literally don't believe us when we show what she collects and puts in her bed, because you wouldn't even think a dog would know how to do that. But
she has very curious interest.
We'll try and catch what's in her mouth as she goes past.
Just quickly, anyway, it's Reese's mum's birthday. Coral.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Coral. Happy birthday to you. Oh.
Squash tomatoes and stew. What a beautiful son you have.
And a special, I'm just having a conversation at the moment with a couple of different doctors, menopause doctors, because we're going to do a menopause special, especially for Reese's mum, and then everybody else can join in. Yeah. Reese's mum wants a...
And Coral, on that note, Nadia's been a little bit sort of menopausal this morning, haven't you? We can talk about... Who
do you think you are?
Oh, Coral, what have you done?
Oh, it's Coral that's done something. It's Coral. Notice that, or have you?
What have I done?
Will you tell us?
No,
what you've
you
done?
tell us.
No, come on.
People
You're full of yourself.
What have you got on your forehead?
You're full of yourself. Nothing.
I'm not full of myself at all.
What's Mark done today that I talked about on Loose Women on Friday, and said that I cannot bear?
Oh my God.
What's he already done? I'll let's see if anybody's watching.
If anybody's what?
I'll let them see if anybody's... So anyway.
Tracy, what? We'll sing your birthday too at the end, sweetie.
Tracy, happy birthday, and we will sing to you. So let's just tell you what's going to be happening today. We've got a bit of fun and silliness at the beginning, a little bit of a Mr. and Mrs. We're also going to be talking, because I haven't explain to you yet my deep outrage over what happened in Amsterdam and the reporting since. Quite extraordinary, and just highlights really what's been going on over the last year, just magnified. So Trump and Ukraine. Mark's going to explain a little of what could possibly happen now with Ukraine and Trump. And also a really tragic story for everyone involved. This is about this student at Oxford University that took his life, and a little around that. And we've got a lot to say really around that story, not so much that particular story, because of course nobody will know the ins and outs of that, but a lot of topics and themes that have come up between us that we've chatted about since this story. So
I see it's Cam's birthday too.
I'm
making a note, guys.
We've been making notes. We've both got a bloody pen and a piece of paper. In that, how long have we been doing coffee moaning?
You have a Crayola. You have a
God knows
an infant's Crayola.
God will only be the decider of whether this will actually work. How long have we been doing coffee moaning?
Too long.
Don't be miserable. How long have we been doing coffee moaning?
5 years.
5 years. Today we each have a pen and a piece of paper.
Mine's
the back of a
whiteboard one. And I ran for this knowing it was there.
Where was it?
In the really oblong dish from Anthropology.
Dina and I had a marathon visit to TK Maxx Home Sense yesterday. Oh, it was joyful. We were there for 3 hours. It was just sheer heaven. But we came out, we had like 10 minutes to get out, get the stuff packed into the car, because otherwise we were going to be charged. She doesn't like to be charged in the car park, Tina. And then she suddenly goes, W.H. Smith, and goes running. I'm running after. I said, what are we going to W.H. Smith? And she goes, Mark wants a whiteboard.
Oh, she didn't get
I
one.
went, Mark wants a whiteboard, does he?
Hang on a minute. Dina
Do
threw
you
me under.
remember?
Hang on. Dina said she wanted a whiteboard. She's thrown me under the bus.
She was being kind.
How was that kind?
No, but what I love is I've bought him so many whiteboards, but he has...
No, you've bought yourself whiteboards to try and somehow pin down your chaotic head. Just because you've got this
He who
neat
hath not
haircut.
sinned, cast the first stone.
Why are you getting all biblical? Why are you getting biblical
You didn't think
on
I was
this
going to...
shit?
When you came over here this morning, you didn't think I was going to be biblical, did you? But there we go.
Old
That's us.
Testament on us.
We never know which way we're going to roll because we're just so like that. You know what I mean? We're just like crazy.
Of course. Yes.
That's one of my pet hates.
What?
People go, I'm just so crazy.
I hate it when people say, "Oh, I love them. They're crazy like me."
I hate it when
Why do
people
say that? Oh, you're just like me.
Oh my God, they're so my type. They're just like me.
me.
Every time somebody says that on Love Island, I go, what an unbelievably egotistical
Here's
thing
Victoria
to say.
Moore. Victoria Moore has an observation, lads.
Looking for a...
Yeah. Do you ever wonder?
You've DM'd Victoria, haven't
No,
you? And
I
you've told her
have
that.
not. It's just sometimes you maybe present in a way that not even you're aware of. With
Okay,
your
let's
eyebrow
rewind. He
raise.
started this. I was in a perfectly good mood, and he said, "Oh, Cheryl, Nadia's feeling a bit menopausal today."
Coral.
Coral.
Sorry,
Nadia's feeling a bit. Well, you might as well have said premenstrual.
Are you a little bit?
I'm a little bit sick and tired of you.
Yeah, I can tell.
Take that whichever way you wish.
All over your fucking face.
So,
lots of compliments for your hair, and you've got a glow, says Hilary Daly. Nadia's got a glow
it's really
today.
weird you should say that because Dina said to me, yes, you know what it is? I've put my lip liner on my cheeks.
What?
And it's giving me like a
You've put a
flush.
lip liner on your cheeks.
I've got
Nothing about that
lipstick,
sounds right.
And I've got.
So what have you
I've
put?
got oil on my.
What have you put on your lips?
I've got coconut oil on my face because I couldn't find my moisture.
So what have you put on your lips?
I haven't got anything on my lips. So thank you. Wow, there we go. Coconut oil and lip liner.
Zoe says your hair looks gorgeous. I love her hair
Oh
like this.
my
No,
God, this
only
is
like your hair pulled
hilarious.
up.
The
What's that? What did you just show
I
us?
cannot believe you're saying my hair looks gorgeous, guys, right? It is.
She thought she looked like a monk
It
this
was
weekend.
out here 2 seconds ago. Oh my God, because I was putting
So
the
maybe
camera
you
up.
can pull
I
yourself
went,
together.
oh my God, ran upstairs.
You look
to
like a
do-
bag of shit
I
5 minutes
really
ago.
did. And I couldn't find a bunchy. So I put my...
She could
my
never.
ba-
There was a joke. She could never look
I
like a
put
bag
my
of shit.
hair up with a bangle. Fucking hell, just goes to show.
What?
Couldn't find my moisturising coconut oil. Couldn't
Well,
find
Wow,
this is the new me, obviously. Don't forget.
If you're listening on podcast, you may want to turn us off now.
Right.
God.
So we've had enough silliness. So I think we'll put silliness in between two miserable stories to cheer
You
ourselves up.
can't put silliness in the corner of a room.
I just think we've already been silly.
You can't.
Let's get to the news and then we'll do
what-
something in between. Sandwich.
What's the line in Dirty Dancing? Nobody puts baby
Be in the corner.
in the corner. You can't put silliness in the corner.
It's weird.
Can I just say something?
Why are you suddenly
I need to
quoting
say
the
something.
film? Oh, I don't. Who thinks he should say something?
Who thinks
Just
I
say
should say
yes
what's just crawled
or
into my
no.
mind?
Who thinks he should say something? They're not answering.
Babe,
They're not being quick
You
enough.
don't give people time. It's like on the Curly Cooks. Ask everyone what their favourite is.
No.
What?
Here I go. Look, no,
Jackie Vellino.
no,
Depends.
no. Where is she? Someone just
one
said
person.
no.
We've never seen you before. Harb's Cantina.
Harb's Cantina says
Everyone
no.
else says yes.
No.
Ellery
I'm going
Jones
with-
says no. Christopher Cundall says yes. Say it, says mate.
See,
Yes, yes, yes.
you're all the wind-up bloody merchants.
Type lots of yeses if
No.
you want it. No, says Annie Blue. Free speech, says DP. No.
You know where free speech gets us in a lot of bloody
Sharon
trouble.
Cox really wants to know what he's going to say now. I've noticed
Oh God.
in your, how would you describe it? It's not in your mind or in your mood, but I've noticed an inability to avoid being entirely pedantic and over focusing on the he said, she said, you said, this said, to get the here, they said, it said, we said, but that's not this, that, this is this, not
I
that.
really, really hope that all the people that said yes now feel really encouraged, because that load of old nonsense we've just had to listen to. Well done, the people that said yes.
It's not nonsense. You need to be careful. You're that much older than me. And it's going to get worse.
You are, in a minute, I'm going to leave. Guys, I'm 60.
Here's your Crayola. Yeah, you're excited. No.
I'm a bit shocked.
Well, you couldn't look less like a 60-year-old if you tried.
It's not about that. It's about all I've got left.
No, so you couldn't in your essence be less like a 60-year-old, which is why, hear me, it's odd that this detail of your pedantry is speaking to your age in a way that no other part of you does.
Pedantry. You are using the word pedantry because you want me to just shut up and listen to you. So when you're wrong,
I've never known the word pedantry do that.
Carry on.
She doesn't look 60, does she? That's every woman in the world, says Cam Hayes. They're exceptional at remembering the every detail. Yeah, but not
because when you need the detail, who do you run to?
Okay, so let's start with one of these three very heavy topics.
You know what we're doing?
And Zoe's scared to give you another compliment.
You know what we're doing? You know when there's double maths?
Yes.
And the teacher comes
You're avoiding it.
And we just keep talking to her about other stuff. We're doing that because we want to avoid the horrors of the world.
I loved the meme that you shared the other day, Nads, which had... it was the big television being pushed into and you knew that your teacher had a hangover. This was in the
70s. Yeah. We only now know that when the teacher pushed the TV in,
the giant.
We would never have thought a teacher would drink.
No, or have sex. God. No such thing. The fact that they were drinking and having sex in our school was
more than anyone else.
Yeah, no. Well, on that note, though, I remember us having a supply teacher once, and we managed to convince them that part of our English A level was watching Robin Williams live. You didn't listen to a word I said.
Sorry,
and it wasn't as if it was that boring.
Sorry, I didn't.
I hate you. Okay, take it away.
I've been listening to you a lot today.
Oh my fucking Christ! I've tried to avoid
you. Stop using up the paper. Stop doodling. We need that.
My pen works really well. Look, I've got your birthdays and everything.
Right, the news. Yalla.
Okay.
So you may not have heard what happened in Amsterdam. Is it the European League Championships?
It's.
I know nothing
FIFA,
about
it's all part of the FIFA European Championships. Yes.
In Amsterdam. Does everybody know this story? Yes or no? Mark, you tell the story because you're very good on the deets of this.
Oh God, this is the story. Well, I talked about it on my Instagram on Friday. I talked about it on Coffee Moaning over the weekend, and this is the story. I'm not going to go into the details of the name of the club and all that kind of stuff. No. But this is Israeli football club playing against Ajax in Holland. An interesting detail on that, incidentally, is that Ajax are a little bit like Tottenham. Are more often than not the Dutch team, the team that is on the receiving end of anti-Semitic, kind of chants and stuff like that. In football, as a Spurs fan, over the years, I've always been called things like Yido and things like that. Spurs fans have been on the receiving end of anti-Semitic kind of abuse for years. It's a kind of standard thing. And so Tottenham, ironically, has always been considered the Jewish club. So before anyone gets on their high horse and starts saying you're anti-Semitic, I've supported possibly the most Jewish football club in the country all my life.
Don't have to ever defend that, Mark.
No,
I know. Not don't start this nonsense.
I'm not. But anyway, so the story broke. As the story broke on Friday, I was coming back home. As the story was breaking, the press, the world's press, the Israeli government, and unfortunately the Prime Minister of the Netherlands would have you thought or think that a rampaging pogrom of anti-Semitic abuse equivalent to the awful atrocities of Kristallnacht, which was a night of violence and abuse of Jewish people that occurred in Amsterdam and Holland prior to World War II. They would have had you thought the same thing was happening in Amsterdam on Thursday, Friday. And that all of these poor innocent Israeli football fans were or Thursday night, were on the receiving end of horrible, hostile, anti-Semitic,
brutality,
Holocaust equivalent brutality.
All these words were invoked, weren't they, within this?
Now, I don't know if you remember, if you go back to Friday's Coffee Moaning, the story had broken the night before, that's right, and then I posted on Friday afternoon, and I don't know if I said, literally in Coffee Moaning, I said, I want to step towards this story, but I don't believe the story I'm receiving. I want to wait until more comes out. I literally refuse to comment on it because we're
starting to learn how this works.
And as Sunny Day says, the claim of anti-Semitism is a trick. It's a trick. It's not always, obviously, but it's often in a situation like this. It's been used. It's been cheapened. This is what I don't think Netanyahu realizes.
This is what so many, I think, like 70 different Jewish organizations have come out and said this.
Yeah.
And said that, the abuse of this word used for absolutely everything is weakening it. And that is wrong, because we should always be against any kind of, whether it's anti-Semitism, racism, Islamophobia, we always stand against that. But to use it and use it and use it, and for the news channels to support that overuse of the word in the wrong place, is just disgusting. And as many Jews across the world will tell you, we now feel more unsafe than ever. So it's really negative what they're doing.
So I think today, as the news lands that Netanyahu has said or recommended to all Israeli fans.
Hang on, we haven't finished saying what actually happened.
Yeah, okay. So that was the way in which the story was reported, that this was an egregious attack and assault on Israeli football fans, poor innocent Israeli football fans. Now, what's subsequently transpired is that in the 2 days building up to this violence on the night, the Israeli football fans had been on a concerted sort of mission, screaming racist abuse, Islamophobic abuse, mocking the dead in both Spain in the floods, but also
that was actually on the
in
day
Gaza.
Of the football, wasn't it?
Chants such as "There are no schools in Gaza because we've killed all your children." Death to all Arabs. They attacked a taxi. They attacked a taxi, though you would have only heard the fact that taxi drivers weirdly united to fight back.
Yeah, because I think it all kicked off originally by attacking a Moroccan taxi driver, and then I think over 100 cab drivers in Amsterdam said, hang on a minute.
Fuck this
No. And I think what's been really difficult is they have come out of Israel and behaved however the hell they want. A lot of them were reservists, IDF, and behaved however they would be able to behave in Israel. And they've taken real umbrage at people going, hang on a minute, what are you doing? You can't just come here and do this and scream this filth. Why are there no children in Gaza schools? Because we killed all the children. Imagine that. 44% of human beings killed in the last year in Israel are children. How is that not the front page news? Children are dying from heart attacks, from the terror of the sound of these bombs. The equivalent of 3 Hiroshima bombs have been dropped on the size of East London, right? Children's bodies have been decimated in the most horrific way. I am getting photos and with charities that I'm talking to and stories that would break your bloody hearts, all of you. But our news channels and our newspapers choose for day after day after day talk about the anti-Semitic attacks on football hooligans in Holland. There's something so wrong with the world at the moment that those 44% of all those killed is not relevant. Children aren't relevant. Children having their limbs amputated with no anaesthetic is not as important as this story. If everybody could, when you see these really unfair stories, write, tweet, copy them in.
But to be honest with you, the problem with this, Sunny Day, I can see you're saying we understand why, and we understand that the mainstream media is invested in. There are two reasons the mainstream media is trotting out these lines. On the one hand, there is the vested interest argument, which is that essentially all of our media is a voice piece or a mouthpiece for the status quo mainstream narrative. You saw it around COVID, you saw it around, and we're witnessing it all the way through the Gaza crisis. And it's making me, and it must be making everyone, reflect on so many incidents in history where the mainstream media has essentially curated what news we get, not even to tell us what to think, but by not giving us everything, it makes us think what we think. And I think that's the most important. Hang on. That's the most important thing about what I want to talk about here as well. It's not just about what they say, it's about what they don't say.
Well, exactly. That's what I was going to say. So when a respected charity like Save the Children put on all their social media channels, ask all the people with any kind of, following to put this out, 44% of those killed are children. Save the Children are asking us to tell people about that. How come, as Miss Anne Harriman puts it so well, the people with the power in the pen don't think it's relevant for the citizens here in this country that are funding through our tax the bombs that are going to be dropped on those children? We are a part of this. We are a part of this through our governments.
Can I just say though, but it's a real problem. I really feel for people who aren't plugged into the news in a way that say we're. So people are asking a lot, and people ask me a lot about why. So how do we challenge it? How do you know when the mainstream media? Because when we look at news stories, most of the news in this country comes through the mainstream media, legacy media as they call it, and so. The mainstream media delivers a certain take on the news, and you're looking for variety in your news gathering. That's why I'll lurch one way to the Guardian, then I'll lurch back to the Telegraph, then I'll lurch back towards the Independent, then towards the Mail, then towards publications like the Mirror, and then towards the Times. And so you're bouncing left, right,
and then on YouTube, then Al Jazeera.
Crucially, you have to step outside of our mainstream media, and then you have to go online and towards social media. My thing about the reason I keep going back to why I paused on it on Friday was for the very same reasons that is also part of the problem for the mainstream media here. There's a fear amongst the mainstream media that they will be quickly accused of anti-Semitism if they don't come out massively in favor of the Jewish-Israeli cause first. And I think what we're seeing here, I think what we're seeing here is the prioritization of one side over and above the other. So, for example, any violence that happened in Amsterdam, and what ended up in the end happening was a shared sense of violence and disruption and everything. It was your classic case of football hooliganism, started by racist, abusive, genocidal chanting by an Israeli mob, which then escalated. And then the news jumps on it at the point, interestingly, that Netanyahu and the Israeli government try to get ahead of the story. There's no coincidence here that Mossad, the Israeli intelligence services, had representatives in amongst the crowd on the day. I feel there's a kind of strategy here at work. So here's the thing. So the whole news story sort of fires up. Israel didn't. Let me put it clearly for you. When you see the headlines, Israel scrambles planes to evacuate Israeli fans who are basically being attacked. The world goes, "Oh, this is awful. They're being driven out." I tell you why they got the planes there quickly, so they could avoid prosecution. They got them out quick so they couldn't be prosecuted, because who's being prosecuted now? Only the Muslims or pro-Palestinians who are left behind. How will that news story float in papers like the Telegraph, the Mail, etc., when they're charged? You'll only hear about them being charged.
Because Netanyahu sent a plane to get all the others out. And guess what Netanyahu is telling them all today in Israel? We have intelligence that across Europe there are pro-Palestinian groups. You are in danger. Do not go to Europe. What's he doing to the Israeli community there? He's saying, let me just keep fighting the whole world for you. Because if you step out of here, my God, it's hell.
Nalin, I've just been watching a Dutch program where a Dutch Jewish person was allowed to speak about the supposed pogrom of the Jews, the hooligans, and there was not a single word given to counteract. This is a huge. The reason this news story, I can't let go of it, and the reason it gets worse is that we're also seeing lots of people already putting pressure on Starmer, saying he's dropped the ball with anti-Semitism. This is being used as an example or as a kind of test case to amplify the sense that anti-Semitism isn't being dealt with seriously. This is profoundly inaccurate, and this is really Netanyahu trying to weaponize and export his genocidal approach to Gaza to any opposition across Europe. This is an escalation. I'm telling you now.
This is why I know you guys might get bored of me saying it, but when we chant in our thousands, in our millions, we are all Palestinians, what that means is if they can do this to the Palestinians and whip up, this total bloody fabrication, of the last 76, 77 years, then you see what's happened. We've got Netanyahu, we've got Trump, we've got Putin. We're in a tricky situation, us human beings around the world, I tell you. I just wanted to say Jane Bentley, down there. Please watch The Last Leg on Channel 4. The whole show is peppered with support for Gaza. Well, that guy that presents The Last Leg, I love him. He is such a good guy. Thank you, Jane, so much for that. We'll watch that for sure. Thank you, Jane. Hello?
No, sorry. And I was just reading another comment. Yeah, thank you.
Thank
you so much, Jane. Sorry. I was just reading some of the other comments.
Yeah.
Just also having to monitor what's coming in as well sometimes. Those Israeli fans, Darwitz, act the same way the state of Israel does. They attack and berate others. When met with resistance, they cry anti-Semitism and say they're the victims of an unprovoked attack. It's exactly what I was saying over the weekend. All of this kind of invoking of Kristallnacht, utterly reprehensible. The Anne Frank story, photographs of Anne Frank being posted, everything about that use of that incredibly traumatic history cheapens it. Because if you don't speak to the truth of what's happened here, you cheapen it. It's a cheap shot. And unfortunately, it is unfortunate, the vast majority of people don't challenge the mainstream media. The mainstream media know that. The vast majority of people haven't got time, nor interest, nor inclination to dig deeper into a story to find out, which is why I literally did a handbrake turn and pulled over and had to just talk about it on Friday. Why Nadia's talking about it, why we're talking about it, is because do challenge people that you talk to when they say, yeah, but didn't you see this? Hang on a minute. It wasn't like that. I'll tell you what it's all about.
We're not even supposed to say Islamophobia. Do you remember on Morning GB News?
Islamophobia is disallowed.
What's the ITV morning one? What's that one?
GMB.
GMB, not GB. GMB, when that woman was saying it's Islamophobia, they said, why do you feel the need to use that word? Can you imagine?
Would you imagine challenging a Jewish person? Well, we are actually. We're challenging it in this instance because, of course... And
many Jewish people across the world are furious with this abuse of the word.
And this is where these people like Netanyahu think they're being so clever.
Yeah.
This is where they think they're being so clever. Of course, in the conflagration and in the fight and in the kind of exchanges of what blew up, anti-Semitic things will have been said, but Islamophobic things were being said too. And this is the bit that's never spoken about. It's not the same,
is it? That's what we've got to remember.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to say that sort of abuse could feel the same way.
Yeah.
There's not the same feelings in a Muslim. They don't have the same heart, the same blood, the same skip. They do not have a heart that beats. They're not quite human. Remember that.
Yeah.
Remember that.
Yeah.
You can't make it equal here.
One of the most insane questions I get when I talk about my support of Gaza is, but why would you support them? They'd kill you in Palestine for being gay and trans. And I'm because they're people. Because
they're people. And if anybody thinks that, anyway, I'm going to control myself because I'm going to go completely fucking mad. And I've got to be.
Okay, so talking about other things, Trump and Ukraine. Okay, how are you feeling? Rather than the specifics about Trump and Ukraine are, Trump's basically going to say...
I thought we'd have a little bit of fun in between.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I love these accounts where they have, if you're taking your girlfriend to a such and such, which date would she prefer? Now, they had music on, so it's a bit dull because we're about to take the music off. But I just thought it'd be quite funny. It's a bit of a Mr. and Mrs. and I want you to have a go too. So
they move quite quickly.
So I'll play it a couple of times. And then is this a girlfriend
this one? Which baby animal remind you. So are you wanting everyone to
They've got to guess what they think I'm going to say for you, which number. So I've got to guess which animal I think.
They've got to guess which animal you're going to say I am.
Or which animal you are. Which animal are you? Which animal is Mark?
Oh, I see. They can also guess too.
Yeah. So
which baby animal reminds you of me?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah. And Mark's going to write down what he actually thinks.
1.
Baby calf.
2.
How gorgeous is that penguin? Oh my God.
Oh.
Baby tiger.
Oh.
What is that? A Labrador?
It's a dog, yeah.
No, is it a Labrador?
Yeah. Oh. Okay, I'll play it again. I kept fixing it there.
What have we got though?
1, calf. 2. Right.
Which one do you think is most like you, Mark? You write yours down.
Okay, let me have a think. Which is most like
me? You can keep it going, and let's see. Reem, baby. May is crying at the cuteness. Oh, that little bear. Remember, this is Mark. We're not talking. Don't start saying what's your favourite animal. Right. Here we go. Okay. One more time. What do you think?
If you're listening on podcast, we've got images of baby tigers, a little goat, dogs, foxes, bears.
Bear. Right.
All
Okay.
right.
So Leos is 5. I'm just saying if there's any. Right. So Mark and I are both going to hold our numbers up at the same time.
Okay.
I think.
What have you said?
You're going to hold it up at the same time?
Yeah, I've crossed one out. Oh, I said number 7.
6. What did you cross out?
Number 2, the penguin.
Do you think you're as cute as that penguin?
No, but as stupid. I feel like I'm as... Oh, my God. You could have seen yourself for a minute there. It's quite horrible. That was really quite... That was a low point in our marriage.
We've got this sweetest thing going on here, and he's...
That wasn't nice.
I just don't see how you could see yourself in the penguin.
The zeal with which you said it was quite a shocking low point.
Mr. and Mrs.
entire
Divorce.
Marriage.
So mine was 6. Let's have a look at
what was number 6?
Who agrees?
Oh, the fox, the baby fox, and I put the bear
outside the door.
Yeah,
you're always out there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
for me, it's 6 all the way.
I put the cheeky bear. Della Nixon agrees.
Did nobody put 6? When you think how often Mark is
at
the other side of those doors, Snowdrop did.
No, very few people said the fox.
Interesting. You don't know him as well as you think you do. Well done, Dearheart.
So what's the next one?
We do the girlfriend one next time.
Okay. So you want to do this one now?
Do that one. Let's do a bit of desserts.
Oh, this is your boyfriend again?
No, this one is girlfriend.
Oh, okay. So same concept. Get your pens and pencils ready. This is to describe Nads. Okay? So I'm going to try
you know her. Which dessert does she want the most?
Too fast. Hang on. I should have slowed these down.
That's all right.
Okay. So you got... First off, you've got sort of Biscoff cake, number 1.
Biscoff cheesecake. I've made that cheesecake.
Doing it for podcast listeners. Number 2.
Pistachio nut-filled oozing croissant. Donuts. Or brownie. Or creme brulee.
Creme brulee.
Or chocolate cheesecake, strawberry cheesecake, tiramisu. Which one am I?
Okay, let's have a look. So we've got 1.
Yeah, Biscoff cheesecake.
2. Pistachio croissant. 3. Donuts. 4. Chocolate brownie. 5. Creme caramel.
Creme brulee.
Creme brulee, sorry. 6. What's that?
Chocolate cheesecake.
7. Strawberry cheesecake. 8. Tiramisu. Well, they look like you when you... Okay,
so talk us...
okay, yeah, I think I know... Okay, I know which one I'm going for. Oh, look, a huge number of you there are agreeing. Isn't that interesting? So,
right, 1, 2, 3.
So hang on, so 1, 2, 3... Number 2. So many said number 2.
If you hadn't chose something with nuts, you would have been in trouble.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You know, I love my nuts.
You're not getting any nuts anymore.
So what would I have thought of a chocolate cheesecake?
No. I can't ask you.
That's true. You're right.
What?
I've got nut.
Yeah, no, you would have done.
Don't love a chocolate cheesecake.
Yeah, you would have done. Tiramisu, you may have... You know.
Yeah. And then what about strawberry cheesecake? I don't like fruit and sweet.
No, not at all. What are the other ones? Creme brulee, maybe.
That's because you've never seen me eat a creme brulee.
Yeah,
so
but you always talk about them as if you like them. You like the crack, you like the sound.
I don't think I like them as much as I do, as I think I do.
Okay, all right. Okay, so briefly,
Trump, well done, team.
Trump,
you know me well.
So tell us, okay, forget Trump and Ukraine then. How do you feel about Trump? Aftermath. We haven't heard from you, Nads. What's your feelings? Do you feel we're all doomed? I mean, I know a number of us, all the journalists at The Guardian are getting therapy because they can't
They've
cope.
offered them therapy.
And we talked about it on Friday, and I thought, what an embarrassment for us to let them know we're that upset. But are you that upset?
I think I've spent a lot of time thinking about why he got in.
Yeah.
And it's so bleeding obvious.
Why?
Because the Democrats are a bit like our socialists.
They're not socialists.
No, they call themselves, don't they? They're more the social, like Labour is about as socialist as the Democrat. You know, that are more for the people, right? Mm. They're not. They're not for the people. I've discovered so much through this election about the standard of living for so many Americans and the way that wages haven't changed for many of them for decades, for generations. I think that they don't speak to those people. I think that he is a genius because what is his genius? His talent is he doesn't care what lies he tells. He is a total, as far as I'm concerned, sociopath. So he will work out what a person wants. He'll say it with no conscience whatsoever. He tapped in. He made these people think that he was just like them, jumping up and down off garbage trucks, going to McDonald's. Now, people, when they look in detail and they intellectualize, oh, well, he's doing this and he's being this and this is very racist and all of this stuff that we can say is irrelevant to the people that can't pay their bills. Many people in America can never even dream of owning a home. They worry about how much their gas is going to cost. That, like us, food has gone up by massive amounts. The economy might be doing great in America, but not for half of America. They're not feeling that economy boost. Many of them don't realize because America can be quite, when I was there, the news really does stay in about America, doesn't it?
It's the most internal, it's the most introspective nation in the planet.
For many, they don't understand that actually the economy has boomed in America comparatively to a lot of other countries, especially ours, since the pandemic. And why do they not know? They don't feel it. There's nothing more in their pocket. And the big swipe of, I'm going to take all taxes out of tips was huge for a lot of the working class in America. Tips are a huge amount of money that goes in their pocket. Whether he'll do that or not, I think he just said anything. And
because one of the other major things that he's said is obviously his much lauded 60% tariffs on all stuff coming in. Someone has to pay for that. The stuff's still going to come in, and it's going to be
that
people.
Will crash apparently that's going to crash it. And Elon Musk has admitted that it will crash.
I mean,
the economy will crash. But like they say, for very wealthy people, that makes no difference because you make loads more money. Yeah. But for very poor people, when jobs are cut and all that's going to be. But
how are you dealing with it?
So I am so shocked and horrified by how little the abortion question meant to people. It's like 12% of the exit polls gave a shit about it. And that really does frighten me because it just says so much about what you can do to brainwash a country. I just feel, do you think that's all they're going to take from you, the women of America? You're right for an abortion? For me, it feels almost, it's so fundamentalist. If ISIS were to be saying anything around this, it feels ISIS to me. That's what it feels like. It feels so extreme, and yet for only 12%, which I can't really get a handle on.
But on that note, Kirsty J makes a good point. I know, but I do understand in a weird way. I think going back to the economics that he's promised everyone, the reason that didn't rate more highly is that I think because it's been handed back to the States, there'll be a lot of women as well who will have felt they're in a state where perhaps, and there were quite a few on the night votes or kind of referendum on the rolling back or extending the abortion laws. And many of those votes sought to keep them where they were, didn't seek to make them worse.
Yeah.
So there is an argument to say that, okay, it's awful that Roe v. Wade was removed. It's awful that he's handed the decision back to the states.
More than that, it's petrifying.
No, it's petrifying. But many states haven't pushed things back. Many states haven't changed the rules.
They would never answer the question as to whether they were going to change that for across
I agree.
America.
But I'm talking about why the vast majority of people might not have seen it as big a concern as the economy. And I think because for many people, they'll have felt, well, nothing's actually changed where I live. It's okay here. Georgia, wherever, it's okay.
Well,
this isn't a priority. It will become a priority.
Women's rights in general, I think that I think it's very, very scary. There's so many things I think about my fears about America and then the wider world, because of course America is influences everything. I'm petrified for Gaza. I think it's the end. I think he's said to Netanyahu he can have an open check.
Well, that's why northern Gaza is going to be wiped out.
Netanyahu is putting in his Israeli ambassador is a really extreme settler. It's dire. It's absolutely dire. He thinks, Trump, that he has Putin in his pocket. He doesn't. Putin is much smarter than Trump. Look at how many of his closest generals and all sorts, weren't they, were coming out this election and saying, I worked with Trump. He's terrifying. He doesn't make considered decisions. He makes impulsive decisions like you would in real estate, but you can't do that with global politics. So I'm scared for that. I'm scared that the first phone call he had with Putin, he brought Elon Musk into it. What does Elon Musk
Well, no, he chucked it on Open Talkback, didn't he? Open call and said, oh, Elon, come on in and
have 2 days after.
I think the whole issue around Ukraine is a massive problem. It's very scary. What's more scary about it is Americans are going to become more and more, they've always followed over the years an isolationist policy. That's always been traditionally, and you've had some presidents who've taken a slightly less isolationist. They were always isolationist, America. But it's
looking after themselves.
Yeah, which is deeply ironic when you think that they have an impact on the entire world and are controlling absolutely everything. And then they sort of advocate, oh, no, we want to look after ourselves. We don't want to be involved in global conflicts. They're involved in all global conflicts and most kind of regime changes across the planet. The problem here, the thing to make people feel better and why you don't need to go to therapy, he now has zero excuses. He has control. Give him, let's all freely and with relish say, okay, matey flip, here you go. Here's the keys to the White House, because I'm promising you it now. It's gonna unravel. And as it unravels, that's the point at which we need to seize upon the moments where it doesn't work. That's not to say if he does do something right, you don't seize upon that too. But I promise you now, he's got no excuses. Let's see him follow through on the promises he's made and see who they work best for. And see where we are in 4 years. And
a YouTube channel that I love is called TYT, and they do really, really good analysis. For me, I love it. Listen, I do not claim to know anything really about, but I just sit here as a kind of viewer, just going X, Y, Z. But it fascinates me, and I think it should fascinate most people because it is going to affect most people.
And we're going to be talking about we're going to be carrying on some of the coverage that we did from the election. We're going to keep talking about Trump's America because let's face it, almost every day something comes out of his mouth.
We've got so many unbelievable articles and things that we're reading that we're collating because we want to start doing Trump's America. So we'll be doing an episode of that like a week. Once a week. We are going to have to go now because we've got that appointment. But I just want to do the happy birthdays.
Yes.
So please subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you can be notified either when we're live or when we upload a new video. Every single day there's something uploaded apart from Sundays. But even on Sundays, if you are a member, you get... Oh, and members, we did a giveaway of supermarket vouchers. So if you didn't see the live yesterday, you've still got a chance... yesterday, the live Sunday show yesterday. Just go and have a read and then follow the
instructions. And lots of you loved the cozy time, which was fun, stupid, and ridiculous, wasn't it? So there you go.
And Nalene, thank you for your continued extraordinary support. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
And everybody,
Tracy
we love you. Tracy Watts, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tracy
Watts. Happy birthday to you. And Cam Hayes.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Cam Hayes. Happy birthday to you.
Lots of
tomato, rain stew.
Just quickly before we go, lots of people saying that apparently the sound cut out when we actually asked the question yesterday on the Sunday show. It might have been because I was flipping the camera around to the other camera. So what was the question again?
When in the live earlier on in the week in the members area, do you remember the really hysterical cozy time where I sent Mark down to the shed in the dark to try and find me some undercoat
or underwear?
What did he use for a torch?
Yes. So go over there and leave your answer. All right, guys, have a lovely day.